That's weird.
What is it?
Meme.
In this video, I'm going to be diving into the new TV show, the Wingfeather Saga, breaking down the first 2 episodes and my thoughts. So with that, let's dive in. Alright, so we have the first 2 episodes of the Wingfeather Saga. This is an animated TV show released by Angel Studios, and I'm gonna go ahead and spill the beans with these first 2 episodes. From what I've seen so far, this is absolutely amazing content. I love what I see so far. The Wingfeather Saga looks bright, colorful, funny, energetic, and all sorts of wonderful, amazing things that you would expect from just a wonderful TV show.
I think this means that he likes the show.
So the first 2 episodes, we enter the mythical world of the Wingfeather Saga. The general area where this is set is called Skree. It's a very Lord of the Rings fantasy-esque kind of world. Very medieval, set way back before cars and technology. And it's full of these mythical, very cool creatures. So actually we start off the first episode with the main character, Janner, exploring this forest and meeting some of the creatures of this world. For example, you have big toads, toothy cows, fazzle doves, and then you just have these crooked eye goats. Why do goats always just look stupid? I don't get it. It's a colorful, bright world though, until you realize that there are these evil creatures called Fangs.
Shut your gobs!
Now, Fangs inside of the world of the Wingfeather Saga are basically the Wingfeather's equivalent of orcs. They're these lizard-like creatures who are basically pure evil, from what I see, who have some type of military occupation of the land of Skree and the closer land of Glipwood, where most of this story seems to be set. So these creatures are basically everything bad you can imagine in an evil creature. They're ugly.
Fangs are ugly.
What?
Yeah, he said it better than I could. They hate good music.
Far beyond these doors.
They love horrible music. Alright, I couldn't resist. I had to try it and see what the big deal with these Fangs is. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of actually get the appeal of this type of music. And they love this absolutely disgusting food called maggot loaf.
I'm starving. We ain't had nothing but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days.
Basically, these creatures have overtaken the land of Skree and Glipwood and have their iron fist over the humans who have been forced to learn to coexist with them. Not out of will, but been forced to learn to coexist with these horrible creatures. So that's where we meet this family called the Igaby Family. We have the grandfather, Podo, the mother, I don't remember her name, and then you have the kids. Janner is the oldest one, kind of the more mature one who looks after his siblings.
The furthest I've ever been is to the field beyond Buzzard Willie's garden.
If I take one more step, it'll be the farthest away from home I've ever been.
Then you have Tink. He's kind of the impulsive troublemaker.
But we can't do anything to get in trouble.
Then let's not get caught.
That's not what I meant.
Oh, come on. How many times have you guys thought the exact same thing? And then you have Lily, who is the sweet, warm-hearted, compassionate one out of the family. Very musical. She also has a bad leg, so she walks around with a crutch. Very well written, very well scripted. Just an absolute likable family. We start the story with this event called Dragon Day, which is a local event in Glipwood where these sea dragons come up and sing, and people every year come around to listen to them sing. And weird things happen when people hear them sing. They influence people to do things that they wouldn't do otherwise.
Yeah, Mayor Blagus couldn't stop crying for a week.
Oh, not only that. He was so deeply moved by the song, he promised to never again pick his nose in public.
It's a very interesting and odd sensation, but it's a huge event. It's one of the few events that the Fangs actually allow humans to enjoy, so it's exciting. Lots of games, lots of great food. The Igiby family is excited to be there. During this event, Lily's dog gets into a fight with a Fang, and the children have to come actually fight the Fang to save the dog, and they end up having to run and basically go into hiding. So all that happens, this is the first episode, and they end up hiding and seeing the sea dragons come up, and the sea dragons start doing their song, and next thing you know, without spoiling exactly what happens in this episode. The sea dragons actually have some sort of intelligent communication with the children. It's rather unexplainable. The children didn't know that the dragons were intelligent creatures and they're not sure exactly what's going on, but the dragons are somehow communicating something to them. With that, the episode kind of ends on a ledge where the family seems to be in trouble with the Fangs for fighting with one of the Fangs to save the dog.
The sea dragons will be gone south tomorrow. We lie low for a few days and hope that the Fangs go back to their muck.
So we enter the second episode, and basically the family finally comes out of hiding, realizing that the Fangs aren't going to do anything to them because they love the family's maggot loaf too much.
The Igaby man bakes the best maggot loaf in Glipwood. You come between that maggot loaf and Norm's gut and he'll snap your fangs off and feed them to you.
Yes, that is legitimately the entire reason. They love the maggot loaf that the family creates, so they're not going to harm the family. But the one Fang who was attacked by the family is plotting murder, revenge, whatever you want to say.
Igaby's peekabees will pluck your feathers soon enough.
But the family returns to normal life. We actually get this sequence where these kids are playing this game. Kind of think how in Harry Potter they made up the entire sport. I believe it's called quidditch. So inside of this world of the Wingfeather Saga, they actually have this made up game that very closely resembles football. And let's just say the terminologies they use make about as much sense to me as people talking about real sports in life.
Tink, you're the best banger. Stay in goal this time and bounce their slingers. I'll bolt hard like I'm whooshing their screechers. When they mook their whackers, I'll jake those beans crossfield to Janner who will already have skittered around their hounders.
What? But back in the actual city as well, Janner actually has a job working for a local librarian named Mr. Retief, who basically looks like Mr. Whitaker from Adventures in Odyssey. There's also this really weird, wiry, tiny little dude named Zuzab.
Zuzab? Zuzab!
I didn't come up with a name for this. I love how when you say Zuzab's name backward, it's literally Bazoos. I think I'm going to start calling him Bazoos for the rest of the episode. But anyway, Bazoos and Tink love each other. Every time that Tink comes over, they're chasing each other all over the place. I love this one shot where Bazoos' face is just reflecting inside of this plum Tink has. He's a funny dude. He makes me think of Smeagol from Lord of the Rings for some reason. Very similar mannerisms.
Give it to me.
The itch book?
No, the luscious, juicy, so juicy, sweet.
So anyway, Tink and Bazoos are running around. Tink accidentally runs into this secretive map. Him and Jan are taken home and looking at it, and it seems to point to this abandoned manor on the edge of Glipwood. And throughout the episode, we get some scenes that seem to hint at the fact that perhaps there are these freedom fighters smuggling weapons into that region. So they seem to be hinting at this group of people who are going to rise up and fight the Fangs. We don't necessarily get any reveal if that's what's going to happen, but it looks like going into the next episodes, we're going to get some growing conflict between the Igibys and the Fangs. Probably some more materials relating to the dragons and potentially some more materials of the Igibys going to the manor and coming into contact with freedom fighters.
And losers have to eat a bowl of boggle worms.
Yeah, I'm down for a bowl of boggle worms. I want to talk a little bit about just my overall thoughts off of these first two episodes. This is absolutely visually beautiful. This is some of the most visually beautiful content I've seen, not just in Christian entertainment, but just entertainment in general. It's got a very hand-painted, artistic style with beautifully shaded backgrounds, beautifully animated characters. It's absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, and I would put this up against any animated show of a similar genre. Absolutely wonderful. The characters are just well designed. Like, you kind of think of your cartoony characters, say you have big, small, short, scrawny people. Like you have Poto and then you have Zuzab. And it's just like incredibly well designed and crafted characters. The voice act is incredible. There were actually like very young people acting and voice acting the characters inside of this. And they did an absolutely incredible job. The characters are super likable. Their dialogue is just very well written.
Sharpen your spears and kiss your ugly mamas goodbye.
As I was saying about the dialogue, amazing. Shakespeare himself has nothing on this. And just the smallest mannerisms are so skillfully crafted inside of this TV show that it just creates these highly realistic and likable and believable characters. This story is just great. It's intriguing. It makes you wonder what's going to happen. And one thing I kind of like about this is that it takes a lot of time to world build and to kind of craft the universe of the Wingfeather Saga. So you get a lot of these scenes that don't necessarily have anything immediate to do with the overall storyline, but just add to crafting the overall story. And in a lot of cases when films do this, they come across as boring. But when this TV show does it, it just comes across as very believable, making you feel like you're actually in the world in a very well done type of way.
I mean, you guys know what I mean, right? When you're watching a movie or a TV show or something and you kind of just feel like you're there in the world. I mean, I'm sure you guys know exactly what I mean because I don't really know what I mean. I need help.
See, here's one of the rules of film and TV that I wish more Christian films would get, is that generally people, us consumers, are going to be much more interested in content that either A, we often watch shows of people who do things that we can't because they're superheroes or they're these action figures or whatever it is, they act ways that we can't. Hi guys! And so we look up to that and we watch those shows because we find it interesting and entertaining. Or we watch shows, or B, in worlds that we cannot enter. And so I wish more Christian films got this because they often create films about people who live lives just like us and worlds just like us. But this show absolutely is just so interesting because it creates a world that we can never enter in this life. But when you're watching it for 30 minutes, you're able to suspend your belief and enter into this completely imaginary world that yet feels believable because of the well-crafted characters. They did that so incredibly well. There's not really any Christian message actually yet, and I don't know what that's going to look like in the show. And I'm not going to be upset if there's no overt Christian message. It's okay if people just create content with a Christian worldview from time to time and just spread the gospel through their personal testimony and the reach of their studios. But I do suspect that in later episodes there's going to be more allegorical content, and I think there's already some elements in the story where they can present some moral values. For example, Poto the grandfather had kind of this off-color moment where he had this old friend named Willie who he plays pranks on, and so I'm guessing throughout this first season they're going to kind of have some elements where there's restitution and forgiveness. Also, I just love Willie's yell. It kind of sounds like the Gramps I have in my videos. Hey! Hey, what are you doing? Ugh. But all in all, I'm blown away with what I see. This is fantastic. I mean, I have to rack my head thinking of a single thing I don't like. So I'm just blown away. What's sad is that I am more excited for new episodes of this TV show than I am for the Lord of the Rings TV show, The Rings of Power. And that was a $1 billion TV show. So what you guys are doing is absolutely on point. I'm so excited to see more content. I genuinely enjoy this. This is more of like almost kind of a kid's show. And as an adult, I am enjoying this and loving it. So for those of you watching, I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'd love to hear if you guys are excited to see more content. And if you've read the book, don't spoil it for me, okay? I'm excited to see what happens. So that's my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a blessed day. As a Christ follower, I've made the resolution to take every opportunity possible to share my faith with the world. If you've never given your life to Christ, I'd love to share with you how Christ has transformed the man that I've become. I've attached my email onto this video where you can shoot me a quick email and I'd love to have that conversation. Or if you're a Christian struggling with your faith or just looking for ways to grow closer to God, I'd love to have that conversation with you. With that, you guys have an awesome day. God bless.